Today we are going to discuss a topic on forced vibration. So first I will tell you what is meant by forced vibration. And here it is mentioned forced vibration with harmonic force or excitation. So first I will tell you what is meant by forced vibration. Forced vibration means you can see a spring mass system here with a damper. So forced vibration means here we apply a force for producing vibration. We are applying a continuous force. Means in case of free vibration we are applying a force, but in case of free vibration we just applied a force, that's all. We are not continuously applying the force. In case of forced vibration we are applying that force continuously, so it is called forced vibration. So what will be the difference between free and force? In case of free, only a force is applied at the starting, there is no further force applying continuously. Because in case of forced vibration there will be a force present there, means continuously we are applying the force present there. So what is meant by harmonic means here we are applying a force that is a kind of harmonic nature. Harmonic nature means it's a repeat after a particular interval, means like a sine curve or cos curve. That is harmonic function. So here you can see the periodic force. The force applied here is mentioned as F sine omega t. So the F sine omega t is called periodic force or harmonic force. Okay, harmonic force means it repeats after a particular interval. So here when you are considering the diagram, you can see a spring mass system with a damper. So upon writing the different forces, one is mx double dot due to mass, then kx spring, then c into dx by dt due to damper, and here the mass is displaced through a distance x. And in addition to these three forces, there is also an external force acting, that is periodic force. So the completing the equation, mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to f sine omega t. So x equal to xc plus xp. This is a second order differential equation. The solution is x equal to xc means complementary function plus xp means particular integral. When we are writing the free vibration, you can see in this equation mx w dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to 0, means there will not be any right hand side term because there is no force present in case of free vibration. So next we are moving to solution of this one. So first we are considering the complementary function. Means complementary function, how we are finding the complementary function usually. For finding the complementary function, what we are doing differential equation is we are equating the differential equation to 0. That is the step we are following to find the complementary function. So mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to 0. So this you can see this is the same equation of free vibration. So what was the final solution of free vibration? This was the final solution. There is x into e raised to minus eta omega t into sine omega dt plus phi. This was the solution of free vibration. So next we are moving to particular integral. Particular integral also we are finding like this. Uh, One thing I am telling is you need not have to remember this derivation. Means for exam they will not ask for derivation. They will simply ask for problem only using the final equation. So the most important thing is you have to remember all the final in conclusion final equations. So here you can see upon solving the differential equation, the particular integral you are getting like this. That is the final particular integral is f by root of c square omega square plus k minus m omega square whole square plus into sine omega t minus phi. So the final solution is x equal to a into e raised to minus eta omega n t into sine omega dt plus phi 1 plus f by root of k minus m omega square whole square plus c omega whole square into sine omega t minus y. So this is the complete solution of an underdamped subjected to sinusoidal excitation, that is harmonic excitation. Okay, this is the case. So why it is called underdamped means you can see the initial equation we have written means the free vibration. We have written the complementary function free vibration equation here. So this equation corresponds to underdamped system that you can refer to previous video. So you are getting this solution is like this. And here one more thing I am telling is here we are writing x equal to first term means complementary function, second term means particular integral. And you can see here complementary function, that is there you can find a term e raised to minus eta omega n t. Clear? Means there comes a terms of time. There comes a terms of time in the exponential function. So there will be variation of amplitude, means the complementary function will vary, means the variation of amplitude of complementary function with respect to time is there. That is, in complementary function varies with respect to time because there is a time in the exponential term of complementary function. So next we are moving to next slide. So here one more term we are studying, that is tan phi. One more term we are studying is tan phi. Tan phi is a, tan phi means phase angle, and tan phi is a by b minus omega square. A b, what is a b means? You can see here a means c by m, that is a, and b means k by m. That's all. A is c by m and b is k by m. So that is a and b, and a omega means you already know angular frequency. So tan phi, phi means phase angle. Is this is the equation. So in actual practice, what we are doing is usually the complementary function will be negligible when time tends to infinity. So time tends to infinity means e raised to term will be minus infinity. That e raised to minus infinity is 0. That is what was I am telling. So in this equation, in this common solution, when time tends to infinity, e raised to minus infinity. So the first term will become 0. So x will be equal to particular integral only. So the final solution will be f equal to f sine omega t minus y by root of c omega square plus minus plus k minus m omega square whole square. So when this term becomes maximum for maximum amplitude, so when this term becomes maximum, what will happen? The sine omega t minus y term will become 1. This term becomes maximum. So that is called steady state response. Means the term in which the amplitude will be maximum. Here the complementary function already becomes 0, so the remaining term is only particular integral. So the maximum amplitude of particular integral corresponding to that value is called steady state response. So x max here becomes sine terms become 1, so f by square root of c omega whole square plus k minus m omega square whole square. Then what we are doing, dividing the term by k. So f by k by square root of c by k into omega square plus 1 minus m omega square by k whole square. And here you can see that c omega by k term is there. So c omega by k we are writing like this, c by cc into cc by 2m into 2m by k into omega. You can see c cancel, m cancel, 2 cancel. So finally you are getting c omega by k itself. So here c by cc is theta. Then cc by 2m is there. So just be careful, cc by 2m means omega n. You can refer to the previous video. Cc by 2m is omega n. Then 2m by k. If you are taking m downward, that becomes 2 by k by m. K by m is omega n square. That is 2 by omega n square. So omega n square, omega n cancel. It becomes 2 theta omega by omega n. So that we are substituting in this equation. So it becomes x minus equal to f by k by square root of c by k into omega. We are substituting 2 c to omega by omega n plus 1 minus m omega square by k is there. Here m we are taking downward, it becomes k by m. So 1 minus omega by omega n square whole square. So f by k, omega by omega n we are substituting as frequency ratio, that is r. That is f by k by root of 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 theta r whole square. Now f by k is called x0. x0 means static deflection. Like the spring only, like the spring case only, f by k is called x0, that is deflection. So x max is equal to x0 by 1 square root of 1 minus r square whole square plus 2 theta r whole square. So first case what we are doing is we are considering no damping system. No damping system means in this equation c becomes 0. C becomes 0 means theta becomes 0. So the second term disappears to only remains first term. So x0 by 1 minus omega square by omega n square. Upon substituting instead of x square we can substitute f by k, omega n we can substitute k by m. So finally we are getting x max equal to f by m into omega n square minus omega square. Then next we are considering at a resonance. At a resonance, what will happen? Omega will be equal to omega n. That is the condition of resonance. That also we just told in the previous section. Means at a resonance, what is the condition of resonance is that at a resonance, omega will be equal to omega n. So x max in this equation, what will happen? Omega equal to omega means the first term will be equal to 0. So in the second term, 2 theta omega by omega n, omega equal to omega n, so that becomes 1. So finally x max is equal to f by 2 theta k. Clear? So this is the case of resonance. Then we are moving to some important formulas here. So these are the main formulas you have to use in problem. That is x max is equal to x0 by root of c square omega square by k square, 1 minus omega square by omega n square square. Means this is the case of maximum amplitude or displacement of forced vibration. When damping is negligible, what will become? When damping is negligible, c will become 0. So in these equations you have to substitute the first term as 0. And what when resonance occurs, what will happen? Omega will be equal to omega n. So the second term will be equal to 0. So these are the different cases we have to consider. Then next we are moving to one more term, that is dynamic magnifier or magnification factor. It is the ratio between, simply it is the ratio between maximum displacement of the forced vibration to the deflection due to static force. So it is getting as x max by x0, and x max already you know the equation x max, that is you just derived here x max, so you can substitute there, and by x0. So it is getting d, dynamic magnifier or magnification factor. And when in this case also, when resonance occurs, what happens? Omega will be equal to omega n, and where omega n is called frequency ratio. So some more terms we are considering, same thing, only when resonance occurs in this equation, what is the difference? Omega equal to omega n. When there is no damping, what c will be equal to 0. That's all. So next one more term, that is characteristic curves. Characteristic curves means it is simply a curve which shows the relationship between magnification factor d, phase angle phi, and omega by omega n for different values of c by cc. So the curve drawn between R, that is frequency ratio, and magnification factor is called frequency response curve, and curve drawn between phase angle and frequency ratio is known as phase frequency response curve. So we can move to the figure. You don't have to worry more. Usually this type of curve, just only drawing they are asking. So you can show different terms here. If you are looking y-axis, you can see magnification factor on the left y-axis. On the right y-axis, you can see the phase angle. And then the x-axis, if you are seeing, you can see magnification factor. For different magnification factor and phase angle, you can see the different values of frequency ratio. So you just have to understand this much only. You can read the different findings below, but you have to remember only these things. You can see when omega equal to omega n, what is happening? Omega equal to omega n, that is resonance occurs, that is on the x-axis it becomes 1, right? So omega equal to omega n, the denominator one term disappears, right? In the denominator one term disappears, the first one term disappears because omega equal to omega n, resonance occurs. So what will happen to magnification factor? Magnification factor will increase, it will becomes maximum. So you can see in the curve shown corresponding to omega by omega n equal to 1, you can see d becomes maximum here. And also it occurs at a phase angle of 90 degree, that you can also note here. At 9, if you are checking the 90 degree here, the value attains maximum. Okay, and corresponding to that, if you are seeing, means if you are seeing the left and right side of this maximum value. If you are seeing the left and right of this maximum value of D, you can see the omega by omega n changes from 1. And when you are checking C by CC value also, when you are checking C by CC value also, when the dynamic magnification factor increases, C by CC decreases. Right? Is it right? When the dynamic magnification factor increases means D increases, that is denominator decreases. Denominator decreases means C by CC term is coming in the denominator. So BC by CC term decreases. You can see 0.5, 0.2, 0.1 like that. So this thing only you have to remember. This much only require, not more than this required. If you have to, you can read the further observations here. So next we are moving to a problem. Problem is very important here. So it is a problem. A 250 kilogram single cylinder vertical petrol engine is mounted upon chassis frame and cause deflection equal to 1.5 mm. Mass of the reciprocating parts of engine 25 kg, and it has a stroke of 145 mm. A dashpot is provided whose damping resistance is 2 kN per meter per second. Determine amplitude of forced vibration when driving shaft rotates at 500 rpm. The speed of driving shaft at which resonance occurs. So the different terms given: mass 250, deflection 1.5, then mass of reciprocating parts, reciprocating parts of engine 25, stroke 145, damping resistance 2 kN, n angular rotation 500 rpm, omega 2 pi n by 60, that is 52.36. So stiffness of frame K is W by delta. W already given. W you can find mg, not W is m into g. M is given 250 into g, but delta is given. So radius of crank R is equal to L by 2. So L is given, L by 2 radius of crank. Then mass of reciprocating parts, force is developed, that is this thing, this for equation M F equal to mr omega square means centrifugal force acting. So m into omega, we already find 2 pi n by 60 into r, we just got now. So this is the force. So upon getting this thing, next we are moving to amplitude of forced vibration, maximum amplitude of forced vibration. Though that is x max is equal to f by square root of c square omega square plus k minus m omega square whole square. Here f we know, c is already given, omega we know, k we found now, m we know, omega know. So all we have we just know. So we are finding x max. Then it is asked the speed of driving shaft at which resonance occurs. So when resonance occurs, omega will be equal to omega n. So omega equal to omega n equal to root of k by m. K already it is we found out, m we know. So omega n we are getting, which will be equal to omega. And what is omega? Omega equal to 2 pi n by 60. From there n equal to omega into 60 by 2 pi, which is getting 772.25 rpm. So next problem. A machine part having a mass of 2.5 kg executes vibration in a viscous damping medium. A harmonic exciting force of 30 Newton acts on the parts and causes a resonant amplitude 14 mm with a period of 0.22 seconds. Find the damping coefficient when the frequency of exciting force is changed to 4 Hz. Determine the increase in amplitude of the forced vibration upon the removal of damper. So here it is telling resonance occur. Resonance will occur when frequency of force is matching with natural frequency, right? Means omega will be equal to omega. Here the different terms given as F is 30 Newton, M 2.5 kg, and one more thing, TP, time period is given 0.22 second. So natural frequency you can see X max occurs at resonance, which is 14 mm given. So F1 is 1 by Tp. Reciprocal time period is frequency 1 by Tp, which is getting 4.54. Then to find C, what we are getting, we have given F we know now 4 Hertz. So omega n equal to 2 pi Fn. So 2 pi Fn we got the value 4.54. So 2 pi Fn is getting 28.56. Then omega equal to, that is the corresponding to natural frequency. Then omega equal to 2 pi F. And F it is given 4 Hz in the frequency exciting force is changed to 4 Hz. So omega 2 pi f 25.13. So x max we can find then now x0 by root of the equation. So x max at resonance, you can see from here x max is resonance. From this equation, how will you find the equation for resonance? You are substituting omega equal to omega n. So the second term disappears. So x max resonance equal to x0 k by c omega n. Means at the resonance omega will be equal to omega. The first term omega equal to omega. So it is getting f by c omega n. Right. So c equal to, what is the equation? C equal to f by omega n into x max. That is f we know 30, omega n we already know, then x max also we know. So we are finding x max, we already find out given here 14 mm. So we are finding c is equal to 75.03. So damping coefficient we found. Next we are moving. Before damping, means before damping is removed, what is the x max? So we are finding before damping is removed, means we have to consider the first term also. So when before damping is removed, we can find this standard equation x max equal to 0.015. Okay, so it is here we are not considering the resonance condition. Here we are considering before removing damping, what is the case? That's only we are considering here. Okay, so we are getting x max equal to 15.54. So when damping is removed, what will happen? C will be equal to 0. So x max with no damping, C terms become 0. So also we are getting no damping 65.2 mm. So what is asked in question? Determine the increase in amplitude force to vibration upon the removal of damper. So that will be equal to percent increase amplitude will be with no damping. Under no damping, the amplitude will be something maximum. Here you can see no damping amplitude is maximum. So no damping minus with the damping by with the damping. So 65.2 minus 15.45 by 15.4500 is getting 321.92 percentage. So this is up to the current lecture. Next, two more topics remaining in this module, that is transmissibility and beat phenomena, and we can discuss in the next class. Thank you.